Most handguns perform exactly as tested at the range, under controlled conditions. Real threats don't operate on those terms. Sustained fire, stress-driven grip failure, irregular maintenance cycles, conditions no spec sheet addresses, because that data doesn't sell guns. When your family depends on the platform in your hand, reliability isn't a marketing claim. It's a mechanical obligation. These pistols were built for that obligation. Here's what actually keeps fighting. This video is for educational purposes only and does not promote harm or unsafe use of firearms. Number 7. Sig Sauer P365 XMacro. When everything around you becomes unpredictable, the Sig Sauer P365 XMacro steps in like a quiet promise that your responsibility is covered. This is not just another compact pistol. It feels like Sig Sauer redesigned the idea of what everyday protection should look like. The first impression is size versus capability. Slim enough to disappear under a shirt, yet built with the confidence of a full-duty firearm. That balance is exactly why it has earned attention in defensive circles. The XMacro carries a reputation shaped by real-world demand, not marketing. It evolved from the P365 lineage, a platform already trusted for concealed carry, but this version pushes further with higher capacity and improved control. The extended grip changes everything in the hand. What was once a micro pistol now behaves like something far more stable under pressure. Recoil management feels controlled, almost disciplined, thanks to its compensator-style design and refined ergonomics. In real-life defensive scenarios, control matters more than anything flashy. This pistol gives the shooter confidence in rapid follow-ups without feeling like the gun is fighting back. That matters when stress is high and decisions are instant. It's built for people who don't get second chances in critical moments. Price-wise, it sits in the premium compact category, but its value comes from trust rather than cost. For many, this is the kind of firearm that becomes a long-term companion, something chosen once and relied on for years without question. Number 6. Springfield Hellcat Pro. When the idea of protection shifts from comfort to seriousness, the Springfield Hellcat Pro enters the conversation like a tool built for moments that don't allow hesitation. This pistol isn't designed to impress on a shelf. It's designed to perform when everything else is chaos. It carries the DNA of the original Hellcat, but stretches it into something more controlled, more confident, and far more balanced in the hand. The Hellcat Pro comes from Springfield Armory's push to dominate the concealed carry space with maximum efficiency in minimal size. What makes it stand out is how it refuses to feel small when fired. The extended slide and grip give it a planted feeling, almost like a compact duty pistol compressed into a carry-friendly frame. That alone changes how a shooter reacts under pressure. Less fight with recoil, more focus on the threat. Engineering-wise, the trigger brake is clean and predictable, not overly soft or unpredictable like many micro-compacts. The optic-ready platform shows where this pistol belongs in the modern era. Fast target acquisition, fast response, no wasted movement. It's built for speed, but not at the cost of control. In defensive use, this gun matters because it removes excuses. It's reliable under stress, simple under pressure, and consistent when it counts. That consistency is what families depend on, not hype, not trends. Price sits in the mid-premium range, but what you're really paying for is readiness. It's the kind of pistol you don't think about once it's in your hand, because it just works, every single time. Number 5. Smith & Wesson M and P9 Shield Plus. There are pistols built for show, and then there are pistols built for the moment. Your life changes in a second. The Smith & Wesson M and P9 Shield Plus belongs firmly in the second category. It doesn't try to look aggressive or over-designed. It looks simple, almost understated. But that simplicity hides a platform refined for one purpose: dependable personal defense when there is no time to think twice. The Shield line has always been rooted in concealability, but the Plus version is where Smith & Wesson quietly corrected everything shooters asked for over the years. More capacity without losing the slim profile, a better trigger system, and a grip that feels surprisingly full for its size. In the hand, it feels less like a micro pistol and more like a scaled-down duty gun that refuses to compromise on control. Historically, the Shield series became a go-to for everyday carriers, law enforcement off-duty use, and people who needed something reliable without bulk. That trust didn't come from advertising. It came from thousands of real-world carry experiences. The Shield Plus continues that reputation with improved magazine capacity, giving shooters more confidence without increasing footprint. On the range, the recoil is sharp but manageable, predictable enough that follow-up shots don't feel like recovery. They feel like continuation. The trigger brake is cleaner than older generations, giving a more modern, responsive feel under pressure. In real defensive situations, this pistol matters because it stays out of the way until it's needed. And when it is, it performs without hesitation. For many families, this is the quiet protector that lives unnoticed until it becomes the most important thing in the room. Number 4. Glock 19 Gen 5. If there is a pistol that feels like it was built for chaos, but behaves like it was born for control, it's the Glock 19 Gen 5. This is not a gun that needs introduction in the real world of defense. It's already been proven in places where reliability is not a feature, but a requirement for survival. The Gen 5 refinement doesn't change its identity. It sharpens it. The Glock 19 has long been considered the middle ground of handguns, compact enough to carry daily, but large enough to fight with if things escalate. The Gen 5 version removes the finger grooves, improves the barrel, and refines the trigger system into something more consistent under stress. It feels familiar, but more mature, like a tool that has been optimized through decades of feedback from real users. What makes it legendary isn't complexity, it's the opposite. The design is brutally simple. Fewer parts, fewer failure points, and a mechanical honesty that has made it a global standard for military, law enforcement, and civilian defense. When other systems get complicated under pressure, this one stays predictable. In the hand, the recoil is firm but controlled, cycling with a rhythm that experienced shooters trust instantly. The grip texture locks into the hand without feeling aggressive, and the trigger reset is crisp enough for fast follow-ups without hesitation. For families depending on a single defensive tool, this is where trust becomes critical. The Glock 19 Gen 5 doesn't rely on emotion or marketing. It relies on decades of proven performance in real-world conditions. It sits in the mid-range price category, but its real value is long-term confidence. This is not a pistol you test repeatedly. It's one you load, train with, and trust when everything else is uncertain. Number 3. Sig Sauer P365 Compact. There are firearms that evolve slowly over time, and then there are platforms like the Sig Sauer P365 Compact that feel like they were built for a modern battlefield mindset from the very beginning. This pistol is not defined by tradition alone. It's defined by adaptability, and that is what makes it stand out in a crowded defensive market. The P365 Compact comes from Sig Sauer's push to create a modular handgun system that could fit different roles without changing the core firearm. That idea alone changed how shooters think about handguns. The fire control unit is the heart of the system, meaning the pistol can adapt in size and configuration while keeping its core identity intact. In real-world terms, it's flexibility without losing reliability. In the hand, the compact version strikes a balance between concealment and control. It doesn't feel too small, yet it carries easily under clothing. The grip angle is natural, almost intuitive, and it allows the shooter to settle into a consistent firing position quickly. That matters when stress removes fine motor control and only instinct remains. Performance-wise, the trigger is smooth with a clean break, offering a very modern striker-fired feel. Recoil is manageable and evenly distributed, making follow-up shots feel controlled rather than rushed. It behaves like a duty pistol that has been slightly refined for everyday carry use. The P365 platform has also seen widespread adoption in military and law enforcement circles, which adds to its credibility. It's not just theory, it's field-proven across different environments and users. For families relying on a single defensive firearm, this pistol represents adaptability under pressure. It's not locked into one role, it adjusts to the user, not the other way around. Number 2. CZP 10C. Some pistols earn respect through decades of reputation, others through battlefield history, but the CZP-10C earned its place by quietly challenging the entire striker-fired category and refusing to be overlooked. At first glance, it doesn't scream for attention. But once it's in your hand, the intention becomes clear. This is a pistol built to outperform expectations, not match them. CZ built its reputation on precision steel firearms, and the P10C feels like that engineering mindset was transferred into a modern defensive platform. It carries a sense of tight mechanical refinement. Nothing loose, nothing unnecessary. The frame is aggressive in texture, almost unforgiving, but in a defensive scenario that becomes an advantage rather than a flaw. It locks into the hand with authority. Historically, CZ firearms have been trusted in both military and competitive shooting environments, and that DNA is visible here. The P10C was designed to compete directly with established polymer striker-fired pistols, but it does so with a slightly different personality. More rigid, more mechanical, more precise in feel. The trigger is one of its strongest points. Clean break, short reset, and a level of consistency that makes controlled shooting feel natural even under pressure. It doesn't wander or soften unpredictably. It behaves like a tool that expects discipline from the shooter. In real defensive use, that predictability matters. When adrenaline spikes, complexity becomes a liability. The P10C simplifies the equation: aim, press, repeat. Recoil is firm but straight back, allowing the shooter to stay on target without fighting the muzzle. It sits in a value-heavy price bracket, often outperforming pistols that cost significantly more. But its real worth isn't in price comparisons. It's in how confidently it performs when there is no second chance. Number 1. Walther PDP Compact. When precision meets urgency, the Walther PDP Compact feels like it was engineered specifically for that exact intersection. This isn't a pistol that relies on brute reputation alone. It relies on refinement, speed, and a shooting experience that feels deliberately tuned for modern defensive use. Walther didn't just build another compact handgun, they built a response tool for high-pressure moments where clarity matters more than anything else. The PDP Compact carries Walther's long legacy of precision engineering, a lineage shaped through decades of competition shooting and law enforcement adoption. That background shows immediately in how the pistol behaves. The grip texture is one of its most aggressive designs in the striker-fired world, almost adhesive in the hand. It doesn't just sit there, it anchors itself, especially under rapid-fire conditions. What sets it apart is the performance philosophy. The slide is aggressively cut for optics mounting, reflecting a clear understanding of modern defensive needs. The sight picture acquisition is fast, almost instinctive, and the balance between slide and frame feels intentionally tuned for quick target recovery rather than slow precision work. The trigger system is where the PDP earns real attention. It's crisp, short, and unusually responsive for a duty-oriented compact. There's a clean break that encourages confidence, followed by a reset that keeps the shooter engaged without delay. In stressful situations, that responsiveness can make the difference between hesitation and action. Recoil is present, but controlled, with a straight-back impulse that keeps the muzzle predictable even during fast strings of fire. It feels like a pistol designed for people who train under pressure, not just casually shoot at the range. In terms of value, it sits slightly above entry-level compacts, but its performance justifies the position. This is a firearm built for clarity in chaos. When everything feels fast, it keeps you faster, cleaner, and more in control. Outro. When everything goes quiet and decisions become instant, tools like these matter more than words ever can. Each of these pistols carries a different story, but they all point toward one truth. Preparedness is responsibility. Not fear, not obsession, but awareness of what you may have to protect. Stay trained, stay disciplined, and think beyond the moment. Because in the end, it's not about firearms. It's about the people depending on you when it matters most.